Hi, everyone, and welcome to 12 News Weekend. Every week, we take a look back at the best news stories from our 12 News journalists. On today's show, it's allergy season in Arizona, why your symptoms could be getting worse right now. And an iconic fast food spot here in Arizona is set to close. But first, how long until rising car prices impact you and your wallet? 12 News journalist William Pitts has more.
We are expecting prices to go up, and the prices are going to go up because the tariffs are coming.
Jason Church is the chief operating officer of Courtesy Automotive. They have dealerships in 2 states. They employ hundreds of people.
The manufacturers are going to get hit, and that means that pricing is going to be passed on to us, and we're going to pass it on to the consumers. So there's no dodging this bullet.
Because the way cars work is dealerships buy the car from the car company. Then they resell it to you. So the price you're paying is the price from 3 to 6 months ago. And Church says it's not just going to be foreign-made cars either.
Across the actual domestic produced vehicles as well, because the manufacturers are going to blend the price increase to try and to soften it for the consumer.
Also, the car could be made in Tennessee. The parts used in it come from all over the world. Which brings us to another wrinkle, service. The price of the parts to fix your car are going to go up too. The Trump tariffs hit a lot of countries. Some things from Canada and Mexico are exempt, but other countries will now have huge markups. We took a trip to a big box store just to see where things were made. A new swimsuit for summer, $35. But it's made in Bangladesh, now a 37% tax. Good old American Wrangler pants, $34.99. Also made in Bangladesh, 37%. Are you a big Bluey fan? $19.99, but made in Vietnam, so a 46% tariff, almost half the cost added on. Not even Taylor's immune. The Red album is $49.99, but the vinyl's pressed in France. The European Union's getting a 20% tariff.
Look at this, my man. This one is asking for trouble. Look at all of these.
Trees are blooming.
That's an allergist's dream right there.
And pollen is in the air.
This season so far seems to be particularly bad.
Dr. Frank Lavecchio says the spring and allergies go hand in hand.
Believe it or not, people used to move here because there was a lack of allergies. You know, there was decreased allergies. And the thing that makes it worse this year versus the others is the pollen count.
But allergies seem to have grown right alongside the city.
We're a victim of our own success. The city is growing and growing and growing. There's more trees in here.
Tiny particle matters on the pollen is what can cause runny noses and itchy eyes.
The most common thing that we see is allergic rhinitis. That's a fancy word to say that it clogs up your nose. I sound like I'm having it right now, and it's true.
The good news, typical seasonal allergies can usually be treated at home.
First line is usually some type of non-sedating antihistamine and or some spray, nasal spray, like a Flonase.
Despite their allergy-inducing qualities in the spring, Lavecchio says these trees are very important in the summer.
We need the trees in Phoenix because we could be talking about another problem, which is heat that's coming around the corner. And trees kind of help us. It's much cooler in the shade where we are right now than right out there in the sun.
Bebop, the bicolored spined porcupine, is not your typical cover model, but one of the most famous photographers in the world came here to the valley to get a perfect shot.
We photograph tigers and gorillas and elephants, but really the Photo Ark's built for the smaller things that people will have never heard of before.
Joel Sartori is working on an ambitious project called Photo Ark, a plan from National Geographic to photograph all 25,000 species of animals known to be in human care. And he works with a lot of the smaller ones. Like this, the Derby's woolly opossum. Sartori travels the world finding animals like this, fitting them sometimes into tiny studios, or even nudging larger animals to get in front of big backdrops, getting amazing shots.
The one light failed, but it still looks kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
We caught up with Joel at the Wildlife World Zoo in the West Valley. It's the second time he's photographed animals here. During this session at the zoo, he worked with species like mule deer. The zoo staff carefully placing food in front of the backdrop so Joel could get a great shot. And he got pictures of lesser-known animals like the black-tailed hairy dwarf porcupine, the unique-looking curassow, the purplish-backed jay, an ocellated turkey, and a fallow deer.
We're trying to photograph every captive species in the world over about a 25-year period or so to just get the public to realize there's so much amazing wildlife out there. It's worth saving. It's really worth saving.
Sartori spent 2 days here in the valley, crossing nearly a dozen animals off of his list, adding to the ark. He spends a lot of time in zoos for his work and thinks they serve a very important purpose in this digital age.
A good zoo where there's abundant attention and care and a lot is an education center. They're not only conservation centers, but they are teaching the next generation that these animals are amazing. And I just think when we lose good zoos, good aquariums, and that educational component where people can go and see and smell and hear, sometimes touch a wild animal, it changes people. It makes them realize that it's a really big deal to save these and their habitats.
With a little more than 8,000 animals left to photograph to reach his goal, Sartori always has to look ahead to completely load up the Ark.
It's all fascinating to me, and people ask me what my favorite is, and I always say the next one. The next one. How could it be any different, right?
For most of his life, 11-year-old Teddy Cuthbert has had a faithful companion by his side, a well-worn stuffed panda, fittingly named Panda.
It's really special. I've had it since I was 2. My mom had it before I had it.
Teddy's mom, Christy, got Panda when she was a child at a San Francisco Giants game.
At some point when he was around 2, he found it in a box in the basement and claimed it.
Teddy and Panda go everywhere together, but during a trip to Arizona last weekend, Panda disappeared. The Cuthberts were staying at Great Wolf Lodge and had an early flight Sunday.
We were up with the birds, 7:30 a.m. flight. I think we left to the airport at like 5:45.
Teddy didn't realize Panda was missing until they got home to Northern California.
Lots of crying. Lots of crying. It just is a sense of happiness for me. Whenever I'm stressed out, I just go to it.
The family believes Panda either disappeared inside Sky Harbor or on the Southwest flight to Sacramento.
We've got so many friends and family members that work for Southwest that have been giving us phone numbers and putting it in group chats and trying to get us the right people.
They've been calling the Lost and Found office at Sky Harbor daily, but Panda hasn't turned up. They're hoping someone will see this story and help Panda find its way home.
Coming up, what would you do if your wedding photos fell to the bottom of a lake? Hear one Valley couple's heartwarming story.
It was supposed to be a picture-perfect moment. Newlyweds Gurinder Singh and Valeria Perez had just finished their traditional Indian wedding when their photographer led them to Tempe Town Lake for a few final shots.
We told him to be careful because there's no bar. I just blinked my eye this side and he just fell.
Priceless photos lost at the bottom of Tempe Town Lake.
I was not worried about the camera, but I was worried about the necklace.
He wants to say, oh, I can jump now and get it out, because it's not that deep. But we don't want to, take a risk or anything.
Desperate to get these wedding photos back, this photographer messaged the Tempe Fire Department on Instagram. Now, normally their dive team doesn't respond to these types of calls for service. People lose things in Tempe Town Lake all the time. But as luck would have it, they had a training dive scheduled.
And so we kind of just adjusted it and moved it over to the location of where the camera went missing. Everybody on the dive team just happened to be married, so we understood the importance of the wedding pictures as well.
3 divers went in, each spending about 20 minutes underwater feeling around for the camera, which at this point had been submerged for several days.
And it was the third last diver in the last few minutes of his dive operation that he found the camera.
The camera was destroyed, but the fire department's IT team dried and tested the memory card. Every photo was recovered.
I was really happy. I was, like I told them when we met them, I think that's the best wedding gift that we could get.
This story has another happy ending. Not only were the wedding photos saved, the photographer says insurance replaced his $5,000 camera.
I'm so thankful to the fire department, who really helped us. And there's not enough word to say thank you, even.
In Tempe, Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
Hey, before Coach Gold became the youngest coach to lead his team to a national title since NC State's Jim Valvano, the 39-year-old, look at this, was hooping out at Sunny Slope High School back in the early 2000s. He led the Vikings to a state title in 2002. His coach back then, Arizona Sports Hall of Famer Dan Mannix, he was there tonight, and I talked to Coach moments after watching the confetti come down.
One of the great moments of my life, I'll tell you. Just so proud of Todd. And Todd sent the ticket to me. And then unbeknownst to me, some of my former players wanted to send me to the game, and they kind of got together and ponied up some money and they purchased a plane ticket, booked a room for me. So really, really great. And then to come here to the game and then they're down 12 and then they come back and they win it. And I wouldn't have believed it if I wasn't here to see it. It was just fantastic. They're so proud of Todd. If I could still jump, I would have jumped up and down, but I just kind of put my head down between my knees and just, said a little prayer of thanks. And he's on the top of the basketball world at 39. It doesn't happen every day.
There's nothing sweeter or pinker than the Sugar Bowl. This Scottsdale spot hasn't changed its location, decor, or menu since it opened in 1958. You can't go wrong with the Chicado, double-decker, or banana split. So come for lunch, dinner, or dessert and stay for the fun and nostalgia.
Thank you for coming in. It opened in 1958. It's been in my family the entire time. I'm third generation owner. My great uncle opened the restaurant. He wanted somewhere that he could take his family. Old Town back in the day, it wasn't family friendly per se. It was all bars. And that is kind of how the Sugar Bowl was founded, was to be a family friendly establishment. I have been in here since I was in diapers.
That sounds like every kid's dream, around ice cream every day.
Yes, we had so much fun. I remember my brother and I, we would come in on holidays when we were closed, and so we would get to make whatever we wanted.
Is there something that's been your favorite forever?
Yes, the Buster Brownie is by far my favorite.
Gonna start with a homemade brownie, big scoop of ice cream in here, fudge, and some marshmallow sauce. Whipped cream, which is homemade whipped cream here.
Can't forget the cherry on top. Arizonans and the visitors alike just love this place. Yes. What do you think it is that makes it an Arizona icon?
Well, it's those generations that tell their friends that, if you come to Arizona, you need to try this place. I have, call them our regulars, and they'll come in twice a week and get the same thing every single time. It's just one of those places. You can't go in anywhere and find a cream cheese and green olive sandwich like you can here.
Here you'll find everyone's favorite family, the family circus. Sugar Bowl was featured many times in the comic strips throughout the decades.
Bill Keane was from the area. His family used to frequent a lot, and he was friends with my great uncle Jack. And so he started featuring the Sugar Bowl in it, and that's how it was born. Bill Keane unfortunately passed away a while ago, but his son does the comic and still comes in. So it's still in the family, and it's really neat. This was one of the original menus that we keep. We had our ice cream cones that were 15 cents. It's always good to look back and see where you came from.
Sugar Bowl has a lot of rich history. What do you see for its future?
You don't want to change too much. It's important to keep that nostalgia and those memories that people have coming in. Keep it a small family business. That's really important and something that you don't see very often anymore. I have a son. He is 12. We already get him behind the counter sometimes. He's ready. And you'll always see us on the floor still. Enjoy your ice cream. We love being out here with the customers. It's really important to us.
At the historic and iconic Sugar Bowl in Old Town Scottsdale, I'm Crystal Long, 12 News.
We're still trying to understand what the full impact is going to be.
Megan Greenwood's brewery is a mixture of U.S. and foreign materials. Hops and malt are grown in the USA.
This is our cooler.
Products like aluminum, labels, and packaging materials.
Most of our non-organic products come from outside of the U.S.
Greenwood says she's already paying more for those products.
Most of the impacts have come over the last month or so, and they've increased our case price for sure.
But Greenwood has yet to pass on that increase to her customers. The coming weeks could be telling.
Hearing about these tariffs, what goes through your mind?
It can be scary to think about, but I'm hopeful that it's the right move in the long run.
Our official position is what it's been for, I would say, almost a century now, and that's that tariffs are a bad idea.
The Arizona Chamber's Danny Seiden taking to the airwaves after the tariff announcement last week.
When people are talking about tariffs right now, you're going to hear a tariff on these countries. No. The tariffs are paid by us. It's paid by my members when we import goods into this country. It's then transferred down to the consumer.
But Seiden holds out the possibility of long-term benefits, he says, if the tariffs are coupled with a permanent corporate tax cut. In the meantime, business owners like Phoenix architect Juan Gonzalez say inflation worries alone have consumers nervous.
That they're thinking about what they're going to do next. They're thinking about their timelines and their projections.
One upside to the current state of things, says financial planner Tasha Williams, it might be time to invest.
If you've got cash sidelined that you have not taken out of the market recently, it's a good time to start buying on the cheap.
But unlike the beer at Greenwood, there is little certainty what will result after the economy has time to ferment in this recipe never attempted before.
I'm hopeful.
Joe Dana, 12 News.
This tiny Taco Bell in Scottsdale has been wrapping up burritos since the 1960s. It's store number 31, as in the 31st Taco Bell to ever open. But now it's closing to make way for something newer, and fans are flocking to say goodbye.
We found out that this store would be closing, and as a Taco Bellian, you can't miss it. So we knew we had to hop on in here.
Stephanie Soriano is a Taco Bell superfan and traveled all the way from Ann Arbor, Michigan to experience one of the last mission-style Taco Bells in the world, right near the corner of Hayden and McDowell.
It's a flagship location. It was one of the first to be built like this, and it's the last to be built like they don't exist like this anymore.
News of its closure has made waves on social media. Movie star Joel McHale even chimed in, suggesting the restaurant should be put in the Smithsonian, every brick.
We saw that they were closing on Instagram, and I said, you know what, we're going to be in the area today. We were at the Phoenix Zoo. Let's make a run for it and come to the border and go to Taco Bell.
The interior, tiny, just 3 tables. The drive-through, a tight squeeze. But for Nicole Anderson and her daughter, it's all part of the charm.
Locations like this are going away, it seems, and it just seems like if we have one last opportunity to dine in this retro vibe, we should take advantage of it. People in there were taking photos of just the trash can, and they were like, this is a retro trash can. I'm like, this is so wild.
This location is owned by Desert de Oro Foods, a restaurant company with over 350 Taco Bell and Pizza Hut locations across the Southwest. A spokesperson tells 12 News they have no definitive plans for the building, its furniture, or iconic street sign, saying this Taco Bell will close as soon as the newer, larger one opens across the street. Employees here expect that to happen on Friday.
It's sad to see it go. I understand for the needs of the employees that you got to expand, but it's still sad to see it go.
Its doors may be closing soon, but for fans,
Eats, sleeps, breathes Taco Bell.
this Taco Bell will always be supreme. In Scottsdale, Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
WNBA fans know Bridget Pettis as a Phoenix Mercury legend. You could also call her an entrepreneur, a farmer, and a community servant. But she's still Coach B, Pettis' basketball skills camp, keeping these kids engaged and active during spring break.
It takes a village for children to be successful, and I'm a product of that. My community that I grew up in East Chicago, Indiana, they poured into me. I want to give that opportunity to other kids.
One of the kids being poured into at this camp, 10-year-old Delilah Bohr. She's only in 5th grade, but she's done her research on her role models.
My goals are I always want to inspire people like Kobe, Cheryl Miller, Bridget Pettis.
We first introduced you to Delilah 2 years ago. Now she's embracing the opportunity to learn from one of the pioneering women of the WNBA at this camp.
Just support Bridget Pettis. She's amazing. She has a garden. She's a lot of community stuff. She makes the lunch, breakfast. Her stuff is delicious and healthy. It's really good.
Coach B bringing Miss B's Garden Market to the campers, providing fresh meals made with produce from Pettis' community farm in South Phoenix.
Just trying to give the kids a different experience with healthy food and mindfulness and just having a good time and developing some work ethic as well.
One of the original members of the Mercury remains rooted in the Valley, feeding the mind, body, and soul while inspiring the basketball stars of the future.
It's just amazing.
Get some water and then we'll go to our groups. Get some water.
Thanks everyone for watching. And a reminder, new episodes of 12 News Weekend premiere every Friday on 12 Plus. You can also watch past episodes on the app. Download 12 Plus for your Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku to watch for free. I'm Kadiva Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.